Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python programming course for beginners. I hope all of you are doing well and have practiced the topics from our previous lecture. In the last lecture, we have learned about loops, including the for loop, while loop, break, continue, pass statements, and nested loops. These concepts help us repeat tasks efficiently in Python. Now, it's time to move on another very important topic, strings in Python. So a string is used to store text as data whenever we work with names, messages, addresses, passwords, emails, or any kind of text. We use strings. In simple words, a string is a collection of characters written inside single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Strings are one of the most commonly used data types in Python because almost every real-world application works with text. Whether you are creating a website, a mobile app, a chatbot, or a data analysis project, you will use strings frequently. In this lecture, we will learn everything step by step in a simple way. We will first understand what strings are, how to create strings, what is string indexing, string slicing, and string operators. Some common string methods, some useful string methods. What are escape characters? Some real-life example and practice program. And finally, we will test our knowledge with a quiz. Don't worry if this topic looks new. I will explain every concept with simple examples so that even beginners can understand it easily. So without wasting our time, let's begin our journey. So first, we will see the recap of the previous lecture. Then we will move on to the next slide. If you have not watched our previous lectures, you will please go and watch our previous lectures so you can understand this lecture properly. So moving on to the next slide. Before we begin today's topic, let's quickly revise what we have learned in our previous lecture. A quick revision helps us remember important concepts and make it easier to understand the new topic. In the previous lecture, lecture number 7, we learn about loops in Python. Loops are used to repeat a block of code multiple times, so we don't have to write the same code again and again. They make our program shorter, cleaner, and more efficient. The first loop that we studied was the for loop. Use a for loop when we already know how many times we want to repeat a task. It commonly works with the range function to generate sequence of numbers. Next, we learn about the while loop. Unlike the for loop, a while loop keeps running as long as its condition is true. It is useful when we don't know the exact number of iterations in advance. We also learned that if we forget to update the condition inside a while loop, it may create an infinite loop, which is an programming error. After that, we discussed the range function. The range function generates a sequence of numbers. We learned in three forms: range stop, range from start to stop, range from start to stop, then step. We also remembered that the stop value is never included in the output. Then we studied about the break statement. The break statement immediately terminates the loop when a specific condition is met and transfers control to the statement after the loop. Next came the continue statement. Instead of stopping the loop, continue simply skips the current iteration and start moving to the next one. We also learn about the pass statement. The pass statement does nothing, but it's useful as a placeholder when we need to write a valid block of code and plan to add the actual code later. The pass statement is used. Finally, we explored nested loops, where one loop is inside another loop. Nested loops are commonly used to create patterns, work with tables, matrices, and helps to solve some complex problems. The key takeaway from the previous lecture is that loops help us to automate repetitive tasks, save time, reduce code duplication, and make our program more efficient. Now that we have refreshed our memory, that we are ready to learn a new and exciting topics. So the next topic is strings in Python. Let's move on to the next slide. Now let's understand what strings are in Python. Hmm, I think I have also discussed about strings in the previous lectures in this series. Now let's learn about strings in brief. So a string is, wait a minute, a string is a sequence of characters enclosed within quotes. These quotes can be single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Like you can see here, single quotes, string using double quote, anything inside single quote, double quote, or triple quote is a string. Now let's look at the definition. You can read the definition. First, read the definition yourself. A string is a collection of characters such as letters, digits, spaces, or symbols. These So, a string is a collection of characters. Each character can be letter, number, spaces, or any special symbols. For example, hello is a string because it contains letters. Python is also a string. Even 1, 2, 3, ABC is also a string. Remember, if numbers are inside quotes, Python treat them as text, not as numeric values. Now let's see why strings are used. So, the first use of a string is to store and manipulate text data whenever we need work with text. We use strings. Second use is to display messages to the user. For example, when a programmer prints hello world, the message is stored as a string. And the third use is to read text input from the user. Whenever a user types their name, city, or any text, Python receives it as a string. Finally, strings are essential in real-world applications such as online forms, chatbots, websites, file handling, and many other software applications. Without strings, working with text in programming could not be possible. Now let's look at some real-life examples. Now, person names like Alice, Rahul, Ananya, or your name is stored as a string. Email addresses can be stored as strings. Messages like welcome to Python, hello world are also stored in strings. Similarly, an address like you can see example Lovely Professional University. This address is stored as a string because it is a text. Even product name as laptop, mobiles, headphones are stored in strings. So whenever you work with words, sentences, names, addresses, emails, or any text, you will use strings. Now let's understand the key point at the bottom of the slide. So wait a minute, here you can see the key point. Let me change it so you can see it properly. In Python, strings are immutable. What is immutable? Immutable means cannot be changed after they are created. What cannot be changed after it's created? This is called immutable. So in Python, once a string is created, we cannot directly modify an individual character inside it. If we want to make changes, we usually create a new string instead. Don't worry if it sounds a little confusing right now. We will understand it better with examples in the upcoming slides. So, the most important thing to remember is the strings are used to store text data. They are written inside quotes and they are one of the most commonly used data types in Python. Now let's move on to our next slide. Hope this slide is clear to you, and if this slide is not clear to you, you can go back and watch again. Now moving on to our next slide and learn how to create strings in Python. So now that we know what strings are, let's learn how to create strings in Python. Creating a string in Python is very simple. We just write out text inside quotation marks like I told you before. Python supports three types of quotes for creating a string: single, double, and triple quotes. Let's understand each one. The first one is single quotes. Here, the text is enclosed inside a pair of single quotation mark. You can see here the pair of single quotation mark. For example, str1 is equal to hello Python. This example, this creates a string containing the text hello Python. Similarly, it is second in the second example, it stores another string welcome to LPU, and similarly str3 in the single quotation marks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is stored. Python still treats them as a text because they are inside quotes. A good practice is to use single quotes when your text does not contain another single quote inside it. Now we have double quotes. The process is exactly the same like the single quotes, but sign is this for the double quotes. For you can see the same example str1 hello Python, but this hello Python is in double quote. In str2 you can see welcome to LPU. Even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 it is stored in double quote. All three of them are string. There is no difference between single quotes and double quotes in Python. They both create string objects. Many programmers choose one style and use it consistently throughout their code. Now let's talk about the triple quotes. Triple quotes are mainly used for multi-line strings, which means strings that span across multiple lines. For example, if you want to write a paragraph, notes, or documentation, you can use triple quotes instead of writing \n again and again. As shown in the example, text continues on multiple lines and Python stored it as one single string. Triple quotes are commonly used for docstrings, which are used to describe functions, classes, and modules. Here you can see that how triple quotes are used. Either you can use triples, the pair of triple single quotes, or you can use pair of triple double quotes. Now let's quickly read these key points. So what are strings? Strings are sequence of characters. Python allows us to create a string using single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Single and double quotes are usually used for single line strings, while triple quotes are used for multi-line strings. Also remember, as we discussed earlier, strings in Python are immutable, which means once a string is created, its individual character cannot be changed directly. Finally, you can see some example of value strings here. With, yes, these are some examples of value strings. Python is for multi-line string example. Another example. All of these are perfectly valid string values in Python. So whenever you need to store any kind of text, simply place it inside quotes and Python will treat it as a string. Now, in the next slide, we will learn about string indexing, where we will see how to access individual characters of a string by using their position. Hope this slide is clear to you. And if you have any problem, you can go back and see the video again. Now, moving on to our next slide. Now let's talk about one of the most important concepts in strings, which is string indexing. In Python, every character inside a string has its own index number. Using which index number, we can access any individual character from the string. Let's understand with the string Python. Mm, The word Python has six characters: P, Y, T, H, O, and N. Let me finish. Python provides two types of indexing: positive and negative. Now, let's first discuss about the positive indexing. So, what is positive indexing? Like you can see here, positive indexing starts from left side to right side. The first character always has index 0. So, the word Python will contain the index of P will be 0, the index of Y 1, T has the index 2, H has the index 3, O has the index 4, and N has the index 5. Now look at these examples. Text 0, it will return P because index 0 points to the first character. Text 2 returns T because index 2 points to the third character T. Text 5 returns N, which is the last character of the string. So the positive indexing moves from left to right. As you can see here, the positive indexing is from left to right. Now let's look at negative indexing. Negative indexing starts from the right side of the string. Here, the last character always has index -1. You can see it is from left to right and this is from right to left. In the positive indexing, it starts from 0, but in the negative string indexing, it always starts from -1. Like for the same word Python, N has index -1, O has -2, H has -3, T has -4, Y has an index of -5, P has an index of -6. Now let's see the examples. Text -1 will give you the output N because its last character is N. Similarly, text -3 returns B, H, and text -6 returns P, which is the first character. Negative indexing is very useful when you want to access character strings from the end of a string. Now, here is example that you have to try yourself. The text is Python. You can change the text here or you can write your name here and then you have to solve this problem. Write your name instead of Python, then solve this. Look at the example. The print text 0 gives 5 P, text 3 gives H. Similarly, you have to do this with your name. Now let's quickly read the important notes. The first character, the first character of every string has always the index 0, and the last character always has index -1. Python is case sensitive, so uppercase and lowercase letter are treated as different characters. Also, the index must always be within the valid range. If you try to access an index that does not exist, Python will give an index error. You can see Python will give this index error. Let me erase. Okay. Once you understand indexing, it becomes much easier to work with strings because you can access any character whenever you need it. In the next slide, we will learn about string slicing, where instead of accessing a single character, we will learn how to extract a part of a string. Hope this is clear to you. Let me first is it. So now moving on to our next slide. So we have learned about string indexing in our previous slide. So if that concept is not clear to you, you can go back to the previous slide and you can learn it from starting, because the string indexing is the basic concept of string slicing. If that concept is not clear to you, you will never know about string slicing, and it is one of the most important concepts. So I request you to please understand that topic properly, and then you have to come to this topic, because this topic is more important, and that topic is the basic part, the root of this topic, string slicing. Because string slicing is the very useful concept. As I told in the previous slide, we learned about indexing, how to access one character using indexing. But what we if we have to access multiple characters or only a part of a string? For that, we use string slicing. Slicing allows us to extract a part of a string, which is also called a substring in Python. Slicing is done using the colon operator. Here you can see this is the colon operator. Now, let's see the syntax of slicing. The syntax is a string, a start, a stop, and then a step. There are three parts. The start value tells Python where to begin the slice. The index is included in the result. The stop value tells where to stop. This index is not included in the result. The step values tell Python how many characters to move at a time. If we do not mention it, the default value will be 1. Remember, if we not mention the step, then it will automatically become 1. Also remember some useful rules. If start is omitted, Python starts from beginning of the string. If stop is omitted, Python goes until the end of the string. If a step is omitted, Python uses the default step of 1. Now let's see the example string given here. The text is Python programming. Each character has both a positive and a negative index. As you can see here from the left to right, here is the positive indexing, and from right to left, here is the negative indexing. This indexing helps Python know exactly which character we want to extract. Always remember one important rule: the start index is included, but the stop index is not included. This is one of the most common interview and exam questions. Now let's see the slicing examples given here. Understand one by one. First one is the basic slicing example. The text is this Python programming. First is text 0 to 6. This starts from 0 and stops before index 6. So the output is Python. It starts from 0 and it is going till 6. But I tell you that the stop value is excluded, so it will be until 5. So the example will be only Python. Now the second one is 7 to 17. You can see it is starting from 7 and it is going until 17, and last value is not included, so the answer will be till this, from this to this, so the output will be programming. So there is a mistake, there will not be G here. Okay, now this is the correct. Now the last one is 0 to 18. From here 18 is not, so the output will only till 17 and it will be Python programming. Let me erase this. Now we learn about the second slicing example, omitting a start. Now suppose we don't write the start value, we directly write text and a gap and column 6. Python automatically start the index. If you don't give any value, Python directly start with index 0. So the output will be from 0 to 6. It will give the output from 0 to this, and the output will be Python. Similarly, if you write only this, no start, no, and you don't give any of the character, the Python will print the whole string, the full string, Python programming. Now, let's understand the third omitting stop examples. Now suppose we write text 7 and we don't write the here the stopping. So the Python will start from 7 and continue until the end. The Python will start from 7 and it will continue until 17. So the output will be programming. Negative indexing also works. So for example, you write minus minus 11. Sorry, there it will be minus 11. Minus 11, it will also return programming because it starts from the negative index and continues to the end. Now the fourth one is using a step. Now let's understand the step parameter. So the step tells Python how many positions to move after selecting each character. For example, here you can see that double colon is used. Double colon 2. It select every second character from the string and the output will be this. And similarly, you can see 1 double colon 2. The output will be this. And you can see double colon minus 1. It uses a negative step which reads the string from the end to beginning. This is a very popular trick to reverse a string in Python. Here is a useful tip. Whenever the step is negative, Python moves from right to left. That's why text double slash minus 1 is used to return the reverse version of the string. If you want to get any reverse version of the string, you will use this code text double colon then minus 1. The most important thing to remember is start index is included, stop index is excluded. Once you understand this rule, string slices become very easy. Slicing is used in almost every Python project because it helps us to extract exactly the part of the text that we needed. In the next slide, we will learn about string operators, where we will see different operations that we can perform on strings, such as joining and repeating them. Hope this slide is clear to you, and if you are facing problem while understanding any topic, you can go back and see the lecture. And thank you. Moving to on to our next slide. Just like numbers have operators such as plus, minus, multiplication, and division, a string also have operators that help us perform different operations on text. Python provides several useful string operators that make it easy to join, repeat, search, and compare strings. Let's understand them one by one. First is the concatenation operator. The first operator, concatenation operator, is represented by the plus symbol. Concatenation simply means joining two or more strings together. In the given example, we join the string hello, a space, and Python. Here you can see that we are uh, joining hello, Python, and a space. The variable A contains a string hello, variable B contains string Python, and in the variable C we are concatenating hello and the space and the and Python. So in the last line we will print all of these and the output will be hello Python. Remember that the plus operator joins a string end to end. It does not add them like numbers. Now repetition operator. This one is repetition operator. It is represented by asterisk. It repeats a single string multiple times. Here you can see that s is equal to high, result equal to s into 3. Then print result. Uh, High string is given to the variable s. Python repeats the string high 3 times and the output will become this. You can see here 3 times printed high. This operator is useful whenever we need repeated text or pattern. Next is the membership operator. It is written as in. This operator checks whether a word or substring exists inside another string or not. For example, text is equal to I love Python. You can see here text is written here I love Python. Now it will return uh, you can see two print statements are given here. First is love in text, second is Java in text. So the love in text returns true because the word love is present in I love Python. Second, Java in text will give false because Java is not present in the text I love Python. So the in operator checks whether something exists inside a string or none. Now non-membership operator, which is represented by not in. You can see the example. It's opposite to the membership operator. Like the text is given here I love Python and two print statements are there. Java not in Python and love not Python. So Java is not in the statement I love Python, so it will return true, and love is in the statement, so it will return false. It is the opposite of the membership operator. Finally, we have comparison operator. This includes the double equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. These operators compare two strings alphabetically, also called lexicographical order or dictionary order. For example, you can see here A equal to apple and B equal to banana. If we check A double equal to apple, the result is true. Then we will check A not equal to A not equal to B. Then it will give true. If we check A less than B, the result is also true because the word apple comes before banana in the dictionary. Now A greater than B returns false. Now try it yourself. Look at the example. The first example join two strings using the plus operator. The second results a string using the multiplication operator. The third checks whether a substring exists using in. The fourth checks whether a substring missing using not in. Finally, the last example compare two strings using comparison operator. These small examples will help you understand how different string operators work in Python. Now, let's quickly revise. Use plus to join a string, use asterisk to repeat a string, use in to check whether a substring exists, use not in to check whether it does not exist, use comparison operator to compare strings alphabetically. Also remember that strings are immutable. These operators create new string instead of changing the original string. In the next slide, we will learn about some common string methods where we will see built-in functions like upper, lower, strip, replace, and many more that make working with strings even easier. Now let's learn about some common string methods. In Python, strings come with many built-in methods that make working with text much easier. A method is simply a function that belongs to an object. Since strings are objects in Python, they have many useful methods that help us modify our process text. Let's understand the most commonly used string methods one by one. So, the first one is the upper method. This is the first. This method converts all lower cases into the uppercase letter. So you can see the syntax for this is the syntax. For example, if you write a text hello Python, now the text dot upper, then all these lowercase letters, sorry, all the lowercase letters are converted into the uppercase letters. Notice that only the letters change to the uppercase. Numbers and symbol remain the same. This method is useful when we want to display text in capital letter or compare text without worrying about letter cases. The next method is the lower method. It converts all uppercase letters into lowercase letter. Now, similarly, like this, the syntax is string dot lower. Now, you can see the example here. In the text, hello Python is written in uppercase. Then text dot lower is used, and the output came in lower case. This method is commonly used when taking user input because user may type words in different letter cases. Third one is the strip method. Sometimes a string contains extra spaces at the beginning or at the end. The strip method removes these unwanted spaces. Here is the syntax. For example, you can see same with hello Python, and you can see here there are some extra spaces between at the start and the end of the letter. Now by using text.strip, extra spaces are vanished. Here you can see that there is no extra spaces at the end and the start of the hello and Python. So the strip removes only leading and trailing spaces. It does not remove spaces between the words. This method is very useful while processing user input. Now the fourth one is the replace method. It replaces one part of the string with another. The syntax is this: string replace old new. For example, the text is I love Python, and then you have to write a text label replace from Python to C. Then the word Python is removed and the output will be, and instead of Python C is written. Then the output will come I love C. This method is used whenever we need to correct text or replace a particular word inside a string. Finally, we have the split method. This method divides a string into multiple parts and returns them as a list. Here is the syntax. For example, apple banana grape. Text dot split and comma is used. So I think you are not seeing the output because of the camera. So the output will be apple, banana, and grape. The all of them are covered in a single inverted comma. If no separator is provided, it automatically splits the string using spaces. This method is very useful when reading data, names, sentences, or user inputs. Let's quickly revise the method we learned today. Upper convert text into uppercase, lower convert into lowercase. A strip removes extra spaces from the beginning and end. Replaces one word with another. A split divides a string into multiple parts. A very important thing to remember is that strings in Python are immutable. That means the methods do not change to the original strings. Instead, they return a new string or a new value. If you want to change result, you should assign it to a variable. Now you can see like text equal to hello, text is equal to text dot upper. Now the variable text stores the updated value. These methods are among the most frequently used method in Python programming. So practice each one on your own. Now on the next slide we will learn about more useful string method that make working with text even more powerful and efficient. Now let's continue learning some more useful string methods in Python. In the previous slide, we learned upper, lower, strip, replace, and split. In this slide, We will explore a few more built-in methods that are commonly used in real Python program. Let's understand one by one. The first method is find. The find method searches for a substring inside a string and return the index of its first occurrence. The syntax is given here. Here you can see I love Python is the text, and then here we have to find love. So the output will be 2 because the word love starts at index 2. If the text is not found, Python returns -1 instead of giving an error. This method is useful when you want to know the position of curve inside a string. Now the next method is count method. It tells us how many times a particular substring appears in a string. Here you can see the syntax. Here is example text equal to banana count a. Here it will count how many times a is appeared in the word banana. So a is appeared 3 times, so the output will be 3. Third, the title method. This converts first letter of every word into uppercase. G. So you can see the syntax here. Now the text is text equal to hello world text of title. You can see that the first word of hello world, hello and world is converted into uppercase. This is useful for formatting names, headings or titles. The fourth one is capitalize method. This method converts only the first character of the entire string into uppercase. Now text is Python is fun. Text.capitalize. It convert the first letter of the statement in uppercase. Notice the difference. Title is used to capital every word of the letter, while capitalize is used to capitalize the first letter of the entire sentence. Now the first is ill-just, which means left justified. It places the text to the left side and adds spaces on the right until the required width is reached. Here you can see that pi l dot just equal to 6. Now you can see that here after pi here is a space of 6. Similarly, r just will give a space on right side and center width it will do spaces on the both side and print the word in the middle. It adds equal spaces on the both sides. The fifth one is the starts with. It checks whether a string will start with a particular word or character. So it checks whether a string will start with a particular word or character. Like here it is checking that Python programming is starting with Python or not. So Python programming is starting with Python. So it will give true. Now the last one is and fit sub. Here is its syntax and it is totally opposite of the starts with. It returns true if strings end with the same substring. Now the text is text equal to Python programming. Now it is checking that it is ending with programming or not. So it's ending with programming, so it is true. Now let's quickly revise all the method we learned today. Find returns the position of substring. Count counts how many times a substring appears. Title capitalize every word, while capitalizes only the first letter of the sentence. L-just, R-just, and center helps format the text. Starts with checks the beginning of a string and ends with checks the ending of a string. One important thing to remember is that strings in Python are immutable. Each method do not change the original string. Instead, they return a new string or new value. Practice these methods by trying different examples in your Python environment. In the next slide, we will learn about escape sequences, which will allow us to format strings and include a special character inside text. Now let's learn about escape characters in Python. Sometimes while writing a string, we need to include a special character such as new line, a tab space, quotation mark, or a backslash. Python provides escape characters to do this. An escape character always starts with a backslash followed by another character. Let's understand the most commonly used escape characters one by one. First one is the double backslash. The first escape character, it is used to when we want to print a single backslash. For example, we want to print C backslash Python. The output will be Python. Since backslash has a quiet meaning in Python, we write it twice to display one backslash. Now, second one is single quote. For using single quote, we write here backslash and a single quote. So only single quote is present. Similarly, it is used for the double quote. Now, let's start with this new line. One of the most commonly used escape character is new line written as backslash n. It moves the cursor to the next line. For example, you can see here backslash n is used between hello and Python. After the hello, you can see that it is moved to the next line. Now, next is the tab character written as backslash t. It creates a horizontal space between two text. You can see here backslash t is used after the colon. So you can see there is a tab space between name and Siddharth. Sixth, next one is carriage return, which is represented by backslash r. It moves the cursor back to the beginning of the line. For example, hello backslash r hi. Now it overrides the word hello and it will only print hi. Now the next one is backspace, which is indicated by backslash b. It removes the character immediately before it. For example, you can see here pyth, then backslash b and on. You can see pyth backslash b on. You can see that h is removed here and a space instead of h is present. Now form field represented by backslash f. Backslash f escape required represent a form field. Traditionally, it starts a new page while writing document. In modern programming, it is not very used. The last one is octal value. Python also allows us to represent character using octal values. For example, you can see here print 101. So the output is a hexadecimal value. Similarly, we can represent character using hexadecimal value. You can see the example print x41. It will return a. Now look at the example program. Here we are using several escape characters together. You can see here, wait a minute, here we are using backslash n. Here we are using backslash single quote. Then here we are using backslash double backslash t. And here you can see the output of the given program. Why we need escape characters? Escape characters are useful because they help us to include a special character inside a string, format text using new lines and tabs, form and display quotation marks correctly, avoid syntax error while writing strings. Let's quickly revise today's lesson. Escape character always begin with a backslash. Backslash prints the backslash, single quotation print the quote, backslash in moves to a new line, backslash t tab space. These escape characters make our program more readable, properly formatted and professional. Try practicing each escape character in your Python editor to see how the output changes. Now, in the next slide, we will work on an example and we will use strings together with the concept we have learned so far. Now let's apply everything we have learned about strings in a real life example. In this program, we will create a student name formatter. The goal is simple. The user can enter a student's name in any format and our program will clean it and display the information in a proper format. This example combines many string methods that we learned in previous slides. What we will do, let's first understand what this program does. First, it removes extra spaces from the beginning and end of the name. You can see here, read that. Then it finds the total length of the formatted name. It converts the name into proper title case where every word starts with the capital letter. After that, it extracts the first name and the last name. Finally, it counts the total number of characters without spaces. This is a practical example because many online forms and applications process names in a similar way. Now, let's understand the program. Now you can see here name is equal to input enter student name. There is a program. I am telling line by line. Here we ask the user to enter the student full name. For example, the user may type John Doe. Notice that there may be extra spaces or lowercase letter. Here you can see that the extra spaces and here you can extra spaces and the lowercase letters. Let me erase this. Uh, you can see here lowercase letter, spaces. Next is name is equal to name dot strip. The strip method removes the extra spaces from the beginning and end of the string. Now the name becomes clean. Next, proper name is equal to name dot title. This one. The title method covers the name into proper format, so the John Doe becomes John Doe. You can see from the title, the first letter is changed to uppercase. Now, next in the next line, length is equal to length proper name. The length function calculates the total number of characters in the formatted name. It also counts spaces between words. Now we write parts is equal to proper name dot split. The split method divides the full name into separate words. If the name is John Doe, the list becomes like this John Doe. Mm, Now, first name is equal to parts 0. This stores the first word. Then last name is equal to parts minus 1. This index always refers to the last item in the list, so the last word becomes the last name. Next is no space is equal to proper name dot replace this and this. For example, John Doe becomes John Doe without any spaces. Now, this calculates the number of characters after removing spaces. This gives the actual number of letters in the name. Finally, we print all the information. We display formatted name, we display length, first name, last name, and character without space. Suppose the user enters this John Doe. After processing the program, the formatted name becomes John Doe, length 8, first name John, last name Doe, and character without spaces is 7. As you can see, the program automatically formats the name and extracts useful information. This single program uses several important string methods. Strip removes extra spaces, title converts the name into proper format, length calculates the length, split separates the word, replace removes for character counting. This is a great example of how different string methods can work together in a program. Now, to improve your skill, you can also try these exercises here. You can try these by yourself. These are the easy exercises. Print only the initials of a person names. Count the number of vowels in the name. Check whether the name starts and ends with the same letter. Reverse the complete name. These small program will help you become more confident with a string method. This example shows the strings are extremely useful in real-world application, whether we are filling online forms, processing username, formatting text, or validating user input. String methods make our program cleaner and smarter. Practicing this program on your own computer and try changing the input values to see how the output changes. Now In the next slide, we will conclude this lecture. So hope this lecture is clear to you. Uh, I stopped my camera because of the camera. This part is the practice part is not visible to you, so I stopped my camera. Now moving on to our final slide, we will conclude this lecture. Hope you have understood this lecture. Now thank you. Thank you everyone for watching this lecture. Today we learned many important concepts about the strings in Python. We started by understanding what are strings and how to create them. Then we learned about string indexing and string slicing, which help us access a specific character or part of a string. After that, we explored a string operator, common string method, and many more useful methods like find, count, title, many more. We also learned about escape character, which help us format text and include a special character inside a string. Finally, we built a real-life student name format program. Here we applied many of these concepts together in a practical example. I hope this lecture helped you understand strings in the simple and easy way. If you did not understand any topic the first time, don't worry at all. Watch that part again, practice the examples yourself. Everything will become much clearer with practice. And if I made any mistakes while explaining, I sincerely apologize. Learning is a continuous process, and I always try my best to make this lecture as simple and helpful as possible. Remember, programming is a skill that improves with regular practice. The more you write code, the more confident you will become. Thank you once again for your time and support. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep exploring Python. I'll see you in the next Python lecture.